Hello everyone and welcome back to a review on the channel. That's right, we are reviewing a brand new 2020 movie. How crazy is that? There's actually a bunch of new movies that I'm going to try to review this weekend, and the first of which is Palm Springs, which stars Andy Samberg and Cristin Milioti, and this movie is fantastic, and it's honestly one of the best of the year. I think Bad Education still might be my favorite movie of the year, just because that movie was just... it was just so good. If you haven't watched that, it's on HBO, so definitely check out Bad Education. Shout out to that movie again, because I loved it so much. But this movie as well is just one of the most entertaining, fun, charming, and just sweet movies I've seen all year. And it's just, if you don't know the premise of this movie, well, it's basically another one of those time loop movies, the infinite time loops like the Happy Death Days or the Edge of Tomorrows or the very underrated Source Code, or even when you go all the way back to what started it all with Groundhog Day, which Groundhog Day still might be the best of all of them, but this one does that formula once again, but it just knocks it out of the park, and it goes to show that you can have a concept for a type of movie, and as long as you have the right cast, the right screenplay, and the right director on board, you can make this concept work, and it's a very clever concept, and this movie executes it extremely well. And I'll say, in terms of one of my only negatives of this movie, it kind of assumes that you know this concept. It doesn't go ahead and explain everything. So if you haven't seen any of those movies that I just listed off there, then you might be a little lost at the beginning, because it just, like, a character even states, well, you know, we're stuck in that infinite time loop. You've heard of them, right? And then they just move on from there. And so it doesn't really give any setup as to what exactly is going on. You figure it out as you go along, but that's probably a smart thing for this movie to do, since this concept has been done to death. And what this film does, I've never seen any of these other time loop movies do, is it has a veteran character who's been in there for so long that he doesn't quite remember what his life was beforehand. That's how long he's been in this place. And that is Andy Samberg's character, which I found him very interesting. And Cristin Milioti's character is the newbie to all of this. She kind of stumbles upon this situation, and she's learning all these things with the help of Andy Samberg's character, and she's just kind of along for the ride, and that's our main character of this film. If I were to compare this movie to anything, I'd say it's a mixture between Groundhog Day and Passengers. You know, that Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt movie that had a solidish concept, but it just wasn't executed poorly? This movie was executed very well, and it kind of takes that concept of these two people being stuck together in this infinite situation that they're never going to get out of, and it forces them to kind of have a relationship. This is a very well done rom-com in this type of genre that is extremely funny. Like I said, Andy Samberg and Cristin Milioti has excellent chemistry, and their banter back and forth is incredible. And I'll also say J.K. Simmons is also in this film in a very cool role, and I love J.K. Simmons in anything that he's in, and he definitely does add something to this film that I was not expecting. And this movie's only an hour and 30 minutes. It's extremely short, so it just flies by, and the film doesn't waste any time. Like I said, the beginning just says, oh, you've seen movies like this before. We don't need to explain it all back to you once again. It just kind of assumes that you know the situation, you know these characters, and you just jump right into it, which is really nice. And by the end of the movie, the movie just whizzes by, and you're just, okay, now it's over. And I loved how it ended. I think it could have been one of those movies that could have ended a little more ambiguous, and I would have liked even more, but I feel like general audiences would not have liked it if it ended like just 2 minutes sooner than it did. But my main issue is there's one plot point towards the end of the movie, and it's definitely a plot point. It's not like the overall story or the characters or the relationship that's formed between these two characters along with J.K. Simmons. It's kind of a plot point that helps them with a certain situation that just feels like you just kind of have to accept it and go with it. And if you don't accept it and go with it, it just kind of feels like it comes from left field, and then it's used to help wrap up the plot. But that's just, I don't know, I'm nitpicking at this point. This was a very enjoyable movie. I highly recommend you guys check this out. It is on Hulu, so if you guys have a Hulu account, go watch it right now. It is very funny. The cast is excellent, and I don't know, it's just very well done for this type of genre that you think was played to death. So that is my review for Palm Springs. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews just like this one. I will be reviewing a couple more movies this weekend, and I will be wrapping up my 30-day film challenge series with the Lord of the Rings movies. I've never watched any of them before, and I finally watched those movies after many people requesting me to watch those films. So I will have reviews out for all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. So subscribe to the channel. Comment below what you guys thought of Palm Springs, as long as anything else you want me to review. Let me know what you guys want to see. I will definitely put it into consideration. So thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one.